You buy a coffee this morning, you tap your card, the money moves, and you never think about where it came from or where it goes next. But somewhere in the world right now, someone is doing almost the exact same thing with money that started as a crime, a cash payment for a stolen shipment, a bribe, a ransom, and within weeks, that money is sitting in a bank account funding a mortgage or buying a business looking exactly like yours. How does that happen? How does money forget where it came from? The answer is not a single trick, it's a system. A quiet, almost bureaucratic system built in 3 stages, and once you understand it, you'll never look at a cash-only business the same way again. Let's start with the first stage. It's called placement. Placement is the moment dirty money enters the financial system for the first time. This is the most dangerous stage for a criminal because raw cash is heavy, obvious, and hard to explain. A pile of banknotes doesn't have a story yet, so the money needs a story. And the easiest way to give cash a story is to run it through a business that normally handles a lot of cash anyway. Think about a laundromat, or a car wash, or a small restaurant. Nobody questions why these places have piles of 20s at the end of the day. That's just how they operate. So criminal money gets mixed in. A restaurant that really made $2,000 in real sales might report $8,000. The extra $6,000 is illegal cash, now wearing the disguise of legitimate revenue. This is actually where the phrase money laundering comes from. Cash-heavy businesses like laundromats were some of the earliest tools used to clean money. The metaphor stuck because it was almost literal. Economist Brigitte Unger, who has spent years studying the scale of global money laundering, has pointed out that the true size of this hidden economy is almost impossible to measure precisely because success means leaving no trace at all. That's the first strange truth about this system. The best laundered money is money you never hear about. Now for stage 2, this one is called layering. Layering is where things get quiet and clever. Once the money is inside the financial system, it needs distance from its original crime, so it moves, and moves, and moves again. It might get wired to a shell company in one country, then loaned back to a different company in another country, then invested in property, then sold, then reinvested somewhere else entirely. Each transaction on its own looks completely normal. A wire transfer, a loan repayment, a property sale. Nothing illegal about any single step. But stack enough ordinary steps together, and you get something extraordinary. You get money that has been washed through so many layers that its original color is gone completely. Researcher and criminologist Michael Levi, who has studied financial crime for decades, has described this layering process as deliberately designed to break the audit trail, so investigators eventually run out of paperwork before they run out of questions. Here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. This layering stage relies almost entirely on something you already trust: paperwork, contracts, invoices, loan agreements. The very documents designed to prove legitimacy become the tool used to hide illegitimacy. Why does this work? Because our financial system is built on documentation, not detection. If the paperwork looks right, the transaction usually goes through. That single fact is the real reason laundering has survived for centuries. Through every new law and every new regulator, the system was never built to catch a lie. It was built to process a story. Now, stage 3, integration. This is the final step, and it's the one that should genuinely change how you see the world around you. Integration is when the money, now fully disguised, gets spent as if it had always been clean. It buys real estate. It funds a legitimate-looking business. It pays for tuition, weddings, art, jewelry, yachts. At this point, the money isn't hiding anymore. It's living a completely normal financial life. It pays taxes. It shows up on balance sheets. It might even show up in a news article about a successful local entrepreneur. Raymond Baker, who spent years researching illicit financial flows and helped found the organization Global Financial Integrity, has argued that once money reaches this integration stage, it becomes almost indistinguishable from money that was earned honestly, which is exactly the point. Think about that for a second. The entire goal of this three-stage process isn't to hide money forever, it's to make dirty money boring again. And here's the twist that reframes everything you just learned. You interact with parts of this exact same system every single day, just without the crime attached. When you deposit a paycheck, a business places it into the banking system. When your employer pays a contractor, who pays a supplier, who pays a landlord, money is layered through legitimate transactions, exactly like the criminal version, just without the intent to hide anything. When you finally spend your paycheck on rent or groceries, that money becomes fully integrated into the normal economy. Money laundering isn't a separate financial universe. It's a criminal mirror of the exact same three steps every dollar takes to become useful: placement, layering, integration. That's not just how criminals move money, that's how all money moves. The only difference between your paycheck and a laundered bribe is the story behind the first step. Everything after that runs on the same rails. So the next time you tap your card for a coffee and the payment disappears into the banking system without a second thought, remember what you just learned. Your money is also being placed, layered, and integrated, moving through a system built to make its origin disappear from view. The only question worth asking isn't how criminals hide their money, it's how comfortable we've all become not asking where money came from at all.